In this part, we will talk about cations, which are the positively charged ions like sodium ion, potassium ion, and calcium ion. Starting with the commonly found ion in our bodily fluids, that is hydrogen ion, that is also known as a proton. Hydrogen ions play a very important role in maintaining the pH of the body. Because if you guys know, pH is the negative log of hydrogen ions, the concentration of hydrogen ions. By the way, this symbol where any quantity is written in the square brackets in chemistry or biology, it means the concentration of that quantity. Okay, coming back to the topic. So pH it regulates. So pH, of course, it is very important in biological species like cells, our bodily fluids, because enzymes they are very sensitive to the changes in the pH, and a particular pH is necessary for the enzymatic reactions. The next important role of hydrogen ions is in the hydrogen bonding. Hydrogen bonding is the bonding between hydrogen and a highly electronegative atom like oxygen, nitrogen, and fluorine. We have discussed this thing in the very first lecture. Hydrogen bonding is present between water molecules, between the strands of the proteins, and between the two strands of DNA in the nucleic acids. You might have heard or seen that the two strands of DNA basically they are joined together by hydrogen bonds between the adenine and thymine and guanine and cytosine. There are two hydrogen bonds between adenine and thymine and three hydrogen bonds between the guanine and cytosine. And in the protein, so this is an amino acid chain, and in this amino acid chain, some amino acids they have the hydrogen bonds between them because amino acids they contain nitrogen, oxygen, and hydrogen. So that is why it is very evident that hydrogen bonds they exist in the proteins as well. The next important thing or the next important role of hydrogen ions is in the ATP formation, and ATP is basically the energy currency of our cell. Also, hydrogen ions they play a very important role in the transport of carbon dioxide by formation of carbonic acid. Now, acid it splits in our blood plasma into hydrogen ions and carbonate ions, and carbonate ions they are the major this is the major form which allows for the transport of carbon dioxide in our blood. The next ion that we must study is the calcium ion. Calcium, you might have heard from your childhood, your parents say that, oh, you should drink milk and you should eat oranges because they contain calcium, and calcium is very important for your bone and teeth growth. Yes, so calcium it makes our bones, teeth, and nails stronger. It also helps in our nerve functioning properly and in our muscles contraction. Moreover, calcium it allows the normal blood circulation and the release of hormones by various glands in our body. The next cation that is of utmost importance in our body is iron. Iron it helps us grow and develop because it is a very important component of hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is a pigment that is present in the red blood cell, and it has a high affinity for oxygen. So this oxygen is attached to the hemoglobin molecule and is transported from the respiratory system by the blood circulatory system to the body tissues, where the cells take this oxygen and they use in the cellular respiration reaction for the production of energy. And if there is a lack of iron in our diet, we can become anemic. The next important role of iron is in maintaining our energy levels. Also, it keeps our it keeps levels of oxygen in our muscles very high because iron, just like it is a component of hemoglobin, it is component of myoglobin, which is a pigment similar to hemoglobin, and this pigment it stores oxygen in the muscles. The next ion that we must know about and that plays very important roles in our body is sodium ion. And of course, sodium, just like chloride ion, first of all, they play their role in maintaining the water and salt concentration in and outside of the cells. Also, they help our muscles contract and they help our nerves functioning properly. Basically, the nerve impulse transmission is due to the sodium and potassium ions or the sodium potassium pump that is present in our nerve cells, neuron cells. The next important function of sodium is, of course, osmoregulation. Osmoregulation, as I told you, that sodium it maintains the water and salt balance in and outside the cell. That is termed as osmoregulation, and it is a homeostatic mechanism. Potassium, it has similar functions to the sodium. It helps our cells take water and ions. That is, it maintains osmotic balance in the body, it helps our muscles contract, helps in the nerve function, and also it helps our bodies digest food. So these are all the important functions of potassium. Magnesium is an alkaline earth metal and that also plays a very important role in our body. Similar, it has some functions similar to those of sodium and potassium, like maintaining high energy levels, helping our muscles contract in the nerve function. It also supports our bone structure, and most important of all, it helps the formation of our genetic material because it acts as a cofactor for various enzymes, and these enzymes they have a role in the formation of the genetic material. So that is how magnesium play a very important role in formation of genetic material like DNA or RNA. Well, these were all the functions in the human body. Magnesium in the plants also play a very important role because it is a component of chlorophyll. So chlorophyll, you can think of chlorophyll as a hemoglobin in the animal in humans. So just like a hemoglobin molecule has an iron atom in the center, similarly chlorophyll molecule has a magnesium atom in the center. Well, hemoglobin has four iron atoms, but chlorophyll only has one magnesium. But without this one magnesium, chlorophyll is incomplete and it is degenerated. By the way, chlorophyll is a green colored pigment that is present in the chloroplast of the plant, especially in the thalloid membranes. And the chloroplasts they are present in the all green parts of the plants like leaves and young stems. And by the way, the chlorophyll it plays a very important role in photosynthesis, and we all know about the photosynthesis reaction where the carbon dioxide reacts with water in the presence of sunlight to produce glucose and oxygen. And this all of this reaction, especially one part of this reaction that is called the light dependent reaction that takes place in the chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is a place where the sunlight energy is converted into the chemical energy that is used to make the glucose. Well, the magnesium deficiency in plants it leads to a condition that is known as chlorosis. It is basically the fadeness of the green color of the plant leaves, and of course, It is because in the leaves are green because they contain chlorophyll. Chlorophyll, of course, it is a green pigment, so that is why it imparts green color to the leaves. So in absence of magnesium, there would be no chlorophyll present, and because of the no chlorophyll or low amount of chlorophyll, the leaves will look less green and a bit of yellow.